They say you can't be in two places at once. Well, they haven't met the Phantom. I'm F4, and right now my left boot is in Sebastian County, and my right boot is in Scott. But before this was Mansfield, Arkansas, it was a tale of two rival towns, Coop Prairie and Chocoville. Today we're hunting the ghosts of both. Welcome to Found on Location. And now we are off to one of Mansfield's semi-well-known oddities, I should say. From what I understand, one of the only places in the country that has a cemetery that is split right down the middle by a highway. Mansfield represents the combining of two local communities on the Sebastian County line, Coop Prairie and Chocoville, overlooking a small valley south of the county line and north of the Poteau mountain range. Coop Prairie was formed in 1849 on land given by Martin T. Taylor, a settler from Tennessee. A trading post, the Coop Prairie Cumberland Presbyterian Church and Coop Prairie Cemetery were quickly established. Chocoville came along 2 years later, almost 4 miles to the west, and was the original location of the regional post office. When Highway 71 was laid out through the area, the Coop Prairie Church and its cemetery were in the middle of the right-of-way. The church was moved to its present location, while the cemetery became the only cemetery in the United States with a federal highway running through it. It appeared in both Ripley's Believe It or Not and the Guinness Book of World Records. Right there, 1849. Most people drive by. I'm stopping. This is the start of the hub. This land was a gift from Martin T. Taylor. This isn't just a graveyard, it's a foundation. Look at these dates. This is basically the birth certificate for the entire region. Long before the county line, the stones were the records of these folks' existence. But this area, it had two hearts. We just saw the roots at Coop Prairie. But Mansfield wasn't a solo act. About 4 miles west of here sat Chocoville. Before the railroads forced a marriage between these two towns in the 1880s, Chocoville had its own identity, its own post office, and its own grit. We're heading to Chocoville Road to see what's left of the town that disappeared into the Mansfield map. It's roughly about 2 miles beyond the modern-day city limits of what is now Mansfield. A short drive west, but a long way back into the past of a town that completely disappeared. We're rolling down Chocoville Road now. Most people see a street sign, I see a ghost. Back in the mid-1800s, this wasn't just a road, it was the destination. Before the name Mansfield was even a thought, Chocoville was the center of gravity here. It had a post office, it had the shops, and the settlers. But when the iron horses started looking for a shortcut through the valley, Chocoville had to move or get left behind. We're tracking the path of a town that physically shifted its weight to meet the railroad. In the late 1880s, the Little Rock and Texas Railway Company laid down track, running their lines through the region between the two communities, ready to haul the products of local farms as well as coal, which had recently been discovered in the area. The Rock Island Depot was soon built, as was the St. Louis and San Francisco depot. With the railroad business growing, the post office was moved closer to Coop Prairie in 1887, with Blaney Harper as its first postmaster. On acres of standing cornfields owned by J.W. Harper, a junction of the road was soon completed, with other parts of the field subdivided into lots. The land was surveyed and laid out in July 1887 by Harper and civil engineer John P. Hilly. On August 29, 1888, with the merging of the two existing communities, the city of Mansfield was incorporated. Cotton and other agricultural products, as well as coal from nearby Huntington, Sebastian County, formed the basis of the local economy. If you want to know why this town exists, look at the ground. We're standing right near the X, the intersection of the Frisco and the Rock Island Railroads. This was the high-speed internet of the 1900s. To my left, you had coal mines at Huntington and Mansfield feeding the fire. To my right, you had timber and cotton. This spot was a constant roar of soot, steam, and steel. And the Mansfield News was right there in the middle of it. Their newspaper press is humming along with the trains, documenting every ton of coal that moved out. We are standing right on top of the train depot, or the Mansfield's train depot foundation. We're standing in front of the Dixie Theater. This isn't just a building, it's a symbol. It's been the heartbeat of downtown for generations. Well, the trains brought the industry, places like the Dixie brought the soul. This is where the town gathered to forget about the coal mines for a while and see a bit of magic on the screen. They don't make things like that anymore. Imagine what it must have been like to have gone here, got you a ticket, and watched you a movie. So, how did we get here? How did Coop Prairie and Chocoville become one? It's all in the name. We've ended up here at the Coop Creek Dam. This was a 1930s project that changed the landscape forever. The lake and the Coop Creek Dam were built back in the 30s to tame this valley, but today, the valley is reminding us who's in charge. We've covered a lot of ground, from the pioneers at Coop Prairie to the ghost of Chocoville. We've seen how these two worlds merged to become Mansfield. We're wrapping part one up here in the cold, but we're just warming up. In part two, we're going beneath the surface to the coal mine era and the railroad boom that put this place on the map. I'm F4. It's cold, it's frozen, and it's found on location. See you in part two.